in Q4 2022 and 3.1% in full year 2022. Federal government reopens shut oil wells, projects 29 trillion naira annual revenue. And Central Bank of Nigeria dismisses rumors on planned shutdown of e-banking channels. Plus gold inches lower after US Fed meeting minutes. This is Business Express on a network service of the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA, and we're reaching you from Abuja, the nation's capital. I am Leah Katung, Babatunde, your guide. We begin the business of the day by informing you that the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission (FCCPC) has inaugurated the Patients' Bill of Rights in Gwagwalada Teaching Hospital as part of its ongoing efforts to domesticate the bill in hospitals across the country. Executive Vice Chairman of FCCPC Babatunde says full domestication of the bill will lead to improved healthcare delivery for Nigerians. Muplanda Kok reports.
The contribution of the human capital of every economy depends largely on healthcare delivery available to its labor force. The healthcare every patient gets also depends on how well the patient knows his rights. It is towards ensuring that patients know their rights that the Patient's Bill of Rights is being inaugurated here. Members of the board of the hospital were earlier enjoined to go beyond domestication and displaying the bill to actually enforcing it.
Meaning that you recognize that you're opening a floodgate for people to find full expression for how they feel about how they've been treated here. And you think that feedback will be beneficial. That's, for me, is institutional leadership.
After this unveiling or commissioning today, at least the report or in terms of feedback that you will be getting will go a long way.
The Patient's Bill of Rights, among other things, states that patients have a right to information in a language they understand. They have rights to detailed medical records and transparent billing, rights to confidentiality, and rights to clean, safe, and secure environment. With the domestication of the Patient's Bill of Rights here at the University of Abuja Teaching Hospital, Gwagwalada, it is anticipated that more Nigerians will know their rights, will have a healthier labor force, and a stronger economy. In Abuja, Muplang Dakok.
The National Council on Privatization (NCP) has approved Mainstream Energy Solutions Limited as the preferred bidder for the concession of the Zungeru hydroelectric power plant for a fee of $70,025 per year for a period of 30 years. The council, chaired by the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osibajo, gave the approval at its second meeting for the year held at the Presidential Villa. It has also directed the Bureau of Public Enterprises (BPE) to commence the negotiations and execution of the concession agreement with the preferred bidder. A statement by the Bureau's Head of Public Communications, Ibe Uzoma Chidi, says Mainstream Energy Solutions Limited scored 94.3% of the total 1,200 marks, thus surpassing the minimum benchmark score of 75% of 1,200, having offered the highest concession fee to beat Africa Plus Partners Nigeria Limited Consortium, which scored 742 points. And banks will remain open during the normal working days, and channels of operations will be available throughout the week. Reacting to a trending social media message purporting that the Central Bank of Nigeria was shutting down banking services for 5 days from Thursday to Monday, February 27 because of the general elections, the Apex Bank said this was not true. In a message on its verified Instagram page on Wednesday night, the CBN called the report false and urged Nigerians to disregard it. Similarly, the Association of Corporate Affairs Managers of Banks, the umbrella body of spokespersons for banks, debunked the fake news in its entirety and assured Nigerians and the public that there is no iota of truth in the viral message that is being circulated. We move to the Supreme Court now, where parties to the suit challenging the Central Bank of Nigeria's new monetary policy before it have adopted their briefs of arguments with a judgment to be delivered on the 30th March 2023.
The President will do nothing to undermine the powers and jurisdiction of this court. We are all working at trying to salvage a difficult situation.
The President has powers, but that power must be exercised judicially and judiciously. Judicially, the President has exercised that power because he has given the directive to the civil government. But judiciously, has the time frame been reasonable in the context of the position of 2023? It is the contention of the plaintiffs.
And still on the narrow redesign, less than 48 hours to the February 25th presidential poll, the narrow scarcity persists. Recall that last Thursday, President Babatunde, during a live broadcast, approved the continued use of the old 200 naira notes up until April. And of course, today we're linking up with our correspondents across the zones for updates on the naira redesign policy. Our first port of call is Maiduguri in the northeastern part of Nigeria, where Zainab Adam is standing by, and of course she'll be telling me what the situation is. So Zainab, how are you doing this morning? What is happening at your end, and how are members of the public adjusting to this new normal?
It usually opens at exactly 9 a.m. but as you can see, the shop owners are just opening now. The market has many ATM points and some banks within and outside the vicinity, with many customers struggling to transact, considering the scarcity of the new legal tender and the extended 200 naira notes. The cash crunch is a major challenge here in the state, with many customers spending hours on the queues, cancelling and postponing their schedules for the day. There is the panic withdrawal ahead of the elections by residents, coupled with the huge population exerting pressure on the limited cash. While some residents experience difficulty in accessing the cash, business owners here reserve cashless policy. Here with me is a shop owner that is going to explain how they transact here. He sells phone accessories and some electronics. As you can see, there is a POS machine right on his hand, but he's going to tell us how he does this here. Please, sir, what's your name?
My name is Abubakar Sari.
Okay, ya kuke siyar da abu a nan da karancin kuɗi?
To yanayin da muke siyar da abu ne, wani mutum ya zo da ATM nashi kamar misali haka nan, sai ya zo a cire kuɗin a cikin POS, sai a bashi takardar, sai mu bashi kaya. Yanda muke tafiya da tafiyan siyar da kayan mu.
Wannan POS din naka ne ko na POS operator?
POS operator ne wannan, ba na abu na wani na POS operator na wani.
So kuna kara additional charge ne ko kuma normal kuɗin farashin da ka sayar da abu shi zaka cire?
To ba wani farashi, yanda mutum ya sayi kayan haka muke cirewa. Mu din muke a cikin kayan mu ne muke cire doso na yanda mutum ya sayi kayan haka muke cire kuɗin shi.
So idan misali mutum ya sai kaya sai kuka zo da POS da katin shi kun cire kuɗin ba ku samu kuɗin ya fita ba ko problem na network, yaya za ku yi? Za ku ba hanyar tafi da shi ne ko ya?
Akwai yanayin da yanayin tafiyan POS ne, akwai yanayin da zaka ba ma mutum kaya ya tafi da shi, akwai yanayin da ba za ka ba mutum kaya ya tafi da shi ba.
Ina so ka mun bayanin yanayin nan.
To yanayin kenan in muka duba cewa mun ce yayi approving ko ya nuna successful, to wannan zamu dauki kaya mu ba mutum. Amma idan ya nuna pending ko kuma declare, to wannan bari mu dauki kaya mu ba mutum ba. Yanda muke tafiyar da al'amarin kenan.
To amma hakan customers suna jin daɗin cinikayya da ku?
To yanayi ne ya kawo hakan nan, kuma haka muke ta yi a haka da. Wani zai amince da haka, wani kuma baya amincewa da haka. Idan yanayi ne to ya kawo hakan ne, da yake kuɗin ya yi ɗan ƙaranci a hannun jama'a, cash ɗin yana da wahala, to dole ne mu ɗin ma yawanci sai gani masu shaguna suna siyan wannan POS sai su ajiye shago don suna operating din business nasu da shi.
According to Abubakar, they liaise with POS operators to sell goods to their customers. For example, if a customer wants to buy a charger, so he will come with his ATM card, they will call the POS operator and he will deduct the amount, just the exact amount without any additional charge. But in the process whereby the transaction is not successful, they will not give the customer the goods. They will hold it back with them until the transaction is successful.
Very much, Zainab Adam, for that update there. Adjustments at that
Thank
end.
you, ma.
Exactly what they were telling us earlier in Hausa, that you don't have to panic. You come with your card and they will do business with you. That is quite refreshing. Thank you, Zainab, for the update from that end.
Also perceive fear, whereby...
So, Zainab, thank you for the update there. We also have Joy Uzo, who is standing by in Port Harcourt, and Joy Uzo is going to be bringing us some updates from that end. Joy, if you can hear me, good morning. What is happening with the scarcity at your end, and what is the adjustment process like over there? I understand Joy is not ready, so we take a trip to the currency market and we'll be back. So understand Joy Uzo is back on set in Port Harcourt. Joy, good morning to you. Give us the updates from your end, please. Joy, if you can hear me, can you give us the cash update right in Port Harcourt with you there? If you can hear me, give us the update. Joy. And Lagos is standing by. Abolade Salami is actually in Lagos, and the commercial nerve center of the country. So Bolade is not ready for us. We move to the commodities market, where gold prices ticked lower on Thursday after minutes from the Federal Reserve's latest policy meeting indicated that the U.S. Central Bank will likely keep interest rates higher for longer to check high inflation rates. Let's see the numbers. Balade, you're in the commercial nerve center, but it's so tough getting across to you this morning. But I believe we can do business now. So can you give us an update from your end? What is happening? What's the situation with the cash scarcity?
Thank you so much. As you said, we are in the commercial nerve center of Lagos. I'm presently standing on one of the busiest area on the island, and if my camera can take you a bit back, you see that I have some of the commercial banks here, and what we have there are these endless queues where we have people that said, some said they've been here since 6 a.m. to get the cash. But what I can tell you again is that plenty of them here, I have this assurance that they will get this money as against what it was before. Some said the ATM machines are dispensing as low as 5,000, some said 10,000, but everyone on the queue are so assured that they will get the naira. So as it was before, where there was this apprehension, where there was this fear, that has calmed down so well. Everybody that comes out in the morning to go to the ATM machines, or some that are still allowing customers into the bank premises, are getting the newly redesigned naira notes.
And are they opting for other forms of transaction, as we saw in Maiduguri?
Very well, very well. That has been the practice ever since this policy came on board. Those who are not so inclined with e-transaction now want to practice it. Even if you go to Balogu markets, you go to Tinubu Square, you see those women selling clothes. They tell you they don't want cash. I would rather prefer you do me electronic transfer, because I do no longer want to move with cash. So they are really buying this idea. The woman selling fish in the market will tell you, do you have cash or you want to do transfer? So I can tell you that Lagosians are buying this idea of e-transaction.
Okay, thank you, Obolade. Do you have any further updates for us regarding movements? Perhaps we know there are some schemes there that's making transportation easier for the people, right?
I didn't get that. Please, can you come again?
If you have any updates for us about schemes there to make life easier, and I'm picking my footing from the transport scheme that is designed to make life easier for people over there.
That was some couple of weeks back, came up with this idea where these buses were told to reduce cost of transportation for Lagosians. Even some of the buses that are controlled by Lagos State, they came down as low as 50% for the fare that they were asking customers, just to ease the stress Lagosians went through when this policy came out new. Then when we had this cash crunch that was biting harder then, but now everybody it now moves around. Commercial buses will even tell you that if you don't have the new note, drivers will tell you, if you want to do me transfer, I will take it. But the ordinary note, I will not take.
Indeed, I saw on social media one of those videos where there was this commercial bus with the conductor having an ATM, and I was told that video came from Lagos with a POS machine. Thank you for the update, Bolade, and do have a nice one.
Thank you so much.
The federal government is reviving shut-in crude oil wells in a bid to produce about 2.1 million barrels of oil daily, with an estimated worth of 2.4 trillion naira monthly from various drilling facilities in the Niger Delta. Data obtained from the Nigeria Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission in Abuja shows that about 900,000 barrels of oil per day could be produced from quick interventions in the shut-in wells, while the medium and long-term initiatives could add 1.2 million barrels of oil a day. And we move to the stock market, where Nigeria's equities made a rebound midweek to recover from losses recorded in Tuesday's session. The all-share index advanced by 0.23% to close at 54,315.53 points, with equity capitalization also closing out the session at 29.58 trillion naira. 129.91 million securities exchanged hands in 2,678 deals valued at 3.92 billion naira. The financial services industry dominated the activity chart, and that is how the market resumed this morning, and we will be bringing you further updates in the course of the day. Joy Uzo, I understand, is ready for us in Port Harcourt to give us updates from that end. Joy, good morning.
I can hear you clearly. Good morning.
Good morning. Finally, we can communicate. Can you tell us how the crisis is affecting people in Port Harcourt, and what are the other options available for transactions?
Well, behind me is a list of banks with lots of bank customers who are stranded as it is, because as we all know, they cannot access cash for their day-to-day transactions. An area called Rumokoro in Port Harcourt, along the road is a long stretch of Nigerians walking long distance areas because they cannot afford transportation fare. Not because they do not have the money in their bank accounts, but getting the money is a challenge. Coming to the bank, people now come to the bank, it's more like a home for them. They come in the morning and stay for hours, and at the end of the day, they end up going with just 1,000 naira or 2,000 naira. The worst hit in this challenge is the MSMEs, especially the petty traders, because people can't access cash to get to buy their daily needs. These petty traders are also suffering because they are not selling. And as we all know, from what they sell, the profits that they make from their sales is what they use to sustain their families. But because the sale has been so low, they are also going hungry. So everybody is feeling the pinch of this cashless policy. I have a customer here, a bank customer with me here, who is eager to tell us his experience in the last 2 weeks or so since the commencement of this cashless policy. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Please, can you please tell us your experience so far and the impact you think this policy may likely have on the election on Saturday?
It has been so difficult for us within this environment. I think previously the crowd you're seeing here is less previous compared to other time. Other days we used to have them, we used to be more than 5,000, 3,000 here gathered, and yet nothing. But today I think we are trying to get used to it. But the issue we're having mainly here is that they don't pay money. I've been here since 6 o'clock when I came. They don't pay. I only came to do other transactions. They don't pay, and I'm even stranded. I don't have anything to go back with. But that's by the way. Concerning the impact is going to have, I think the policy is okay, but the timing is wrong. I think we'll get used to it, and it's going to benefit us, but the time frame and the urgency in which they are doing it is what we are not subscribing to. But apart from that, concerning the impact it has with politics, I'm a witness. I don't do anything that have to do with politics.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Ezra. As we've heard from him, it's of the opinion that it's going to have a negative impact on the election because people might not want to inconvenience themselves to go out to vote due to the challenges they are facing. For majority of the masses who cannot even afford 3 square meals, unlike other elections when they can easily, have cash to buy food at their polling units and all that. As it is now, people don't even have money to pay their transportation fares. How much more,
Okay,
feed
thank
themselves?
you for that update. And of course, we'll be looking out to see what will happen within now and the elections. Thank you, Joy, for that update. Our time is fast spent. Thank you. And that wraps Business Express for now. Remember to send in your comments, observations, and suggestions. Also be informed that all previous episodes are available on YouTube on the NTA's channel. But before I leave you, let me sound this note of caution. Burning banks and other business premises is never a solution to the current cash crunch, as this will further send the money away from your domain. Arson is a criminal offense in Nigeria. Be wise and don't fall into the arms of the law for the wrong reason. God bless Nigeria. Business Express returns Friday at 3 p.m. I am Leah Katung, Babatunde. Have a wonderful day.